West Virginia University had a monumental job ahead of themselves at the start of this offseason. They had to find a new coach. They were going to have to completely put together a new team, and they did that. They brought in Darian DeVries, who has an excellent track record into the program. And then, because of that, they brought in some really good players. They brought in his son, Tucker DeVries, who I think is one of the best transfer portal prospects in the entire country. They bring in a point guard, Javon Small, who brings a lot of offense and a lot of credibility to a team that's looking for a new identity. And then they brought in some excellent role players as well to kind of fill out their roster. West Virginia is poised for a lot of success. And today, we're going to talk about what we really like about them and talk about their outlook for the 2024 season. So stay with us. We're going to talk about them coming right up. So let's start this whole thing off by talking about Darian DeVries. He is a guy who has won every step of the way. He started off as an assistant at Creighton, was there for a very long time. That program has a huge history and track record of success, and he was a big part of that. And then you look at him, he makes the move to Drake, a conference rival of Creighton, and he does a fantastic job. You look at that program and where he's brought them. They've made the tournament a number of times under him, including the last few. And a large part of his success is he runs a really good program. He's able to keep and develop players, and then also attract some guys to even a school like Drake. So you put him in a situation like West Virginia, and he is just in a situation where he's going to get more talent than he's ever had access to as a coach. And he's also going to have more resources at his disposal as well. So from a culture fit, I love Darian DeVries. I love the mentality that he's going to bring into that program. And I just love the upside and his ability to build on what he's done in the past. Now, another huge part of this is that when you bring in Darian DeVries, you're also going to get his son, Tucker DeVries, who is, like I said in the intro to this, he's probably one of the top few transfer portal prospects that I had seen that were available for a new school. He can bring so much to the table. What I love most about him is he can just create. I mean, he is a creator extraordinaire. So off the dribble, he's going to be able to get to a spot, rise up. He is big, 6'7", can go over smaller defenders. Isn't going to wow you with some athleticism, but he absorbs contact extremely well, can rise up, get his shot off. It was a very, very good touch from three, from two, from the mid-range, can get to the rim and finish creatively around there as well. But when you're looking just at their offense next year, he's going to be kind of like an oh shit handle for that offense, where if something goes wrong, you can get the ball to Tucker DeVries, and he's going to be able to make things happen and score for you. So from that perspective, you love the addition. He's going to be their best player and an identity maker for that team for next year. Checkbox number one marked off. You have your go-to guy. You have someone who's going to craft your identity. You got to love having Tucker on your team. Now, once you have a guy like Tucker in the fold, it's important that you surround him with other guys who can score. And you've got to have kind of that option 1B who's going to come in and be able to create as well, be able to score and create some space for him to operate. So in comes Javon Small from Oklahoma State. He's someone who is just a high-level shooter. There's a lot of different ways that he was able to get his shot off. He was not one-dimensional. He can, create his own shot and his own offense a little bit. But where he was, by and large, most efficient last year at Oklahoma State was in a catch-and-shoot situation. From just a pure catch-and-shoot shooting opportunities, he was almost 50% in those situations. So it's something that he is going to probably see an efficiency boost from playing with a guy like Tucker DeVries, because he is just going to be, in that situation so much more, because Tucker's going to create so much gravity and draw defenders away that guys like Javon Small are going to get more opportunities. They're going to see things that, they likely weren't really, they were just more of the focal point at their previous stop. So at Oklahoma State, he was, number one option on that scouting report, and that's not going to be the case this year. So for him, that's lovely. He's going to get a lot more opportunity, and I think, he's going to see an uptick in efficiency and maybe even volume overall. So that's two great additions that started off, but they weren't quite done yet. So all in all, West Virginia is bringing in 8 transfers through the portal, which is a huge number. They had a lot of outflux of talent, as you do when there's a coaching change. Now, they've brought in a lot of guys who are going to fill various roles across the team. And for the sake of having a video that's very digestible, I'm not going to go through all of them. There is one in particular that I'm going to want to highlight overall, and that's Eduardo Andre, who is a center coming out of Fresno State. Now, he doesn't wow. You look at his stats, he's not like something that pops off the page necessarily. He's not someone that's highly ranked by recruiting services. So he's not getting a lot of fanfare, but when you look at his game, you can start to see the fit with all of these pieces. He's a big body, 6'10", 230. And what's the best thing that he's going to bring to the table for West Virginia is that he can finish around the rim at a really high level. You're going to see in some of these clips that are kind of going through the background here, he can really catch the ball well in traffic. He has great hands. He slips screens very well. He's a very efficient like a roll man in a pick and roll situation. So when you put him in that type of game with a Javon Small or with a Tucker DeVries, he's going to have the opportunity to really clean up. Just because we talked about gravity already, those two are going to create so much attention and draw so much of a defense's attention and focus that when he slips and rolls intelligently like he does, he's going to get some wide open looks. He's going to be able to get some wide open dunks and layups around the basket, and that's where he excels. That's where he's been playing at Fresno State, and you're going to surround him with much more talent. He's just the type of guy that epitomizes a transfer portal prospect who's going to take a jump when he gets to a new school. We've seen it at schools across the ACC. I'm an NC State guy, and you talk about a player like Jarkel Joyner who came in a couple of years ago from Ole Miss. He was not super highly regarded, but when you start looking at his film, the cogs start turning and everything starts clicking, and you can see like, okay, this is where he can take really specific, actionable jumps in his game, and he did it. And he was an all ACC player that year. Now, I'm not saying Eduardo Andre is going to be an all Big 12 player, but that potential is there where he's just going to just have so much more opportunity based off who he's playing around. And the same can be said for a lot of these other role players. So when you look at the two guys they brought in from Illinois, like there's opportunity for them to expand their role, to have more opportunity. They're going to be playing with some guys who are really stars in the college basketball world. So all in all, you have to love in totality the additions that they were able to bring into West Virginia. So let's put a bow on this and start projecting West Virginia for the 2024-2025 season. There's so much that you can love about them. I think from a top level talent perspective, they are certainly in that upper echelon of the Big 12. I think from a coaching situation, you have to, give a little stock to Darian DeVries' ability to put together a winning basketball program. The guy knows what he's doing and has been there before as an assistant and as a head coach. So I think it's foolish to think that, okay, he's going to take a lump in his first year. I don't necessarily think that's the case. Not in today's world of college basketball. So I think, in my mind, you look at West Virginia and I assume they're going to be a tournament team. That's just where my mind's at. So, the question becomes like, how far can they go? And the answer to that question for me is going to boil down to the steps that some of these other role players takes. Is it Sincere from Illinois? Is it Eduardo Andre? Is it some of the other guys that we haven't talked about? They brought in a guard who was Detroit's leading scorer. There's other opportunity that's there, but it's, can those guys take that next step in their game and get to a point where they're helping carry a team a little further? That question will yet to be answered, but I think that I project West Virginia firmly as a tournament team. I think that they're in a great spot for the future. It is a bright situation for them. So West Virginia fans, you should be very happy. Let me know what you think, though. West Virginia fans, feel free to weigh in with a comment down below. Let me know how you think this year is going to go. Where am I off base? Where am I spot on? I always love to hear from the fan bases that I cover. So appreciate you tuning in today. If you want some more content, feel free to subscribe. I'm not your dad, can't tell you what to do, but would love to have you around the community. I look forward to talking more about West Virginia this year. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.